Hi guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover and I'm here today with a special guest who doesn't want to appear with his face on camera, which is completely fine. So we have figured out a way we can do it. So yeah, he's not used to being on camera, so it's grand. We'll leave him yeah. So I thought, not we, more so I thought it would be fun to talk about Cian's TBR for 2021 and to see and to see how many books he might be able to read. And I thought it would just be fun to be able to have a video and have it recorded somewhere of the books that he does want to try and read this year, and then next year we can look back at it and see if he actually got to read them all, or if there's still some that he still needs to read.
Spoiler alert, it definitely won't be as many as Aoife.
Well, yeah, obviously not. Did finish a book already this year, which has been Ready Player 2, so I guess we can talk about that if you do a wrap up for your 2021 reads. We can talk about that then, but you did enjoy it anyway.
I did. But what are we talking about this?
You can talk about it briefly.
Obviously wasn't as good as the first book. The first book was amazing. It was the one book I'd say that probably one of the fastest books I've ever read. Wasn't able to put it down. Didn't really get that same feeling with this one. Though the story it's good. It's not going to blow anyone away. At least that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, you just enjoy the world.
Exactly.
For the world that is already created. It
was nice to jump back in the world, I'd say that.
Yeah. Okay, so the first book on Cian's TBR is America, The Farewell Tour by Chris Hedges. And I have no idea what this is about, but something to do with about America being in a state of irrevocable decline. Interesting.
It's
timely.
It's interesting as well. It's basically about how America is a slowly decaying and dying culture. And it kind of branches out into, ideas of how capitalism and democracy as a whole, I suppose, is eating our world from the core. So, really enjoyable content, especially for the Words of Clover channel.
Yeah, definitely. Not really the type of book that we often get around here. But definitely have you read the other book from this guy?
No, but I have it. I think that's...
Okay. I actually don't buy as many books as he does. I think he actually buys way more books than me, and he just has them on his shelf, and then he don't. At least I read the books.
I do read them. I just get so many of them because they intrigue me all.
Yeah, you want to.
You're one to talk.
You want to read them all at once.
You have. She has shelves of books down. I can see one entire shelf from here.
I read as two of those things are yours on that shelf.
That's besides the point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Where did I hear about that book? I actually saw a video on YouTube of the author, Chris Hedges, talking about quite a kind of sobering interview, really, about America as a whole, and, kind of talking about towards the end of Donald Trump's tenure, I suppose.
Do you think it'll be a 5-star?
I don't know. I'll tell you when I read it.
So the second book that Cian wants to read is Bitwise, A Life in Code by David Auerbach.
Is it Auerbach or Auerbach?
Auerbach. Auerbach. And this is about coding, I'm guessing. It's
David Auerbach, and I hope, again, I'm saying his name right, but I'm not. He's a technologist, essentially, and the book is about the kind of technologies and algorithms that shape our lives today, but also, again, more kind of on a sobering note as well, about how these technologies and algorithms are controlling our lives more so than everything else, and kind of taking away some of our idiosyncrasies of what makes us actually human.
But you want technology to rule everything.
I didn't say that.
Well, you want to be able to use technology for us to be able to do everything, like virtual reality and stuff.
That would be pretty cool, yeah.
So is he not like warning against that kind of thing in this?
Not so much warning against it, but like it can be a dark path, I suppose. That
so you could have like probably a different opinion to what he's saying.
No, I wouldn't. I would say our opinions are. I haven't read the book. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Okay. Maybe we can do a review after I do.
Yeah, let us know if you want him to do a review of Bitwise, A Life in Code from a coder's point of view.
Do you know what I could do, actually? Instead of putting my face on camera, I could do a deep fake
Of who?
Oh, whoever you want. I could be Orlando Bloom.
No, Voldemort or someone.
Thumbs up if you'd like to see a deep fake of Orlando Bloom doing a review with Aoife.
Yeah, okay. So the next book is actually one that I bought Cian for his birthday, and this was This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada, which is a book that I've read and really enjoyed, and it just suited me to get this book for him because it meant that we had a physical copy of this book on our shelves, which is great because I have the second book, and it means that if you like this book, you have the second book to read.
Yay.
So I can actually explain what this one is about because I've read it. And this is a YA sci-fi dystopian type of novel in which there is kind of a virus that is going around that is affecting people. And it's not really like a zombie virus, but it's kind of where people become very, very sick and they basically explode if they get sick. And this kind of red on the cover, if you can see it, once you actually find out and see the descriptions of people, what happens to people when they get this virus, this kind of red splat becomes a lot more meaningful and a little bit more disgusting than you originally think. It's not paint or powder, it's body matter, which is, yeah, lovely. But it's not too descriptive, so it's fine. Stop. Were you doing that for very long?
No.
So in this we are following a girl, what is her name? Katerina. Oh, it's been a while since I read it. So we are following a girl called Katerina whose father, Lachlan, is like this really big scientist in this world, and he is kind of working towards a cure and is trying to figure out how to basically save the world. And one day her father disappears and she's left completely alone. But in this book as well, a lot of people have this amazing type of gene hacking attached to them, and they're able to like change all these different things about their body, and this could have something to do with why the virus is the way it is now. But there's a lot of things to do around like coding your own genes, is that like, and that kind of gene hacking, which is why I think Cian will really like this. And it's not too, you don't really like super gory things, but it's not too gory. Like it's grand because it's a YA, so it's not particularly.
Well, I got through American Psycho, and that was,
you did get through,
but yeah, gruesome at points, which was actually a great book. I should review that one of these
American
days.
Psycho.
American Psycho, great book.
I know some people who've tried to read American Psycho and have really disliked it, so I don't know. You could
different strokes for different folks.
You can prove them wrong. I would really be interested in seeing you read this and what you think of it and the type of technology in this, as someone who is interested in the future of that kind of technology yourself. I would just be really interested. And the woman who wrote this is an actual she studied maths and astrophysics. There's like a hidden message and code and stuff, so the book like involves.
I didn't realise that's actually, I think, a DNA sequence at the end.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, cool.
Read the end of the book so you don't spoil yourself.
No, I'll do Vineland first of all.
Okay. And then the next book Cian wants to read is Violin by Thomas Pynchon, and he has started it, and you're 122 pages in.
I am.
So you haven't gotten, well, you got far enough, like you're like about a third of the way through, just a little bit under a third of the way through.
You know, I'm sorry to say, I only heard about Thomas Pynchon actually only a short time ago, really, which is a sad thing to say because Pynchon apparently is one of the great novelists, I think, of the 20th century.
I had never heard of him, so.
Certainly in the latter years, anyway. Vineland, it's kind of a throwback, really, I suppose, about a guy who was kind of a hippie, really, more than anything else, and kind of grew up, and his life all kind of revolved around the 60s and kind of the culture, I suppose, at that time in America. But it follows that character now living in the 90s and how kind of his life and his love has kind of deteriorated, and he's got a daughter now and how he looks after her, and how he gets by more than anything else. And it's really interesting. Kind of the book came out actually in the 1990s, and I suppose it was it kind of revolved around the culture of that time around the 90s as well, and it's a really interesting piece to kind of read, especially living in 2021 where we are now, about someone from the 1960s living in the 1990s who has seen their kind of the culture that they grew up in kind of erode in that time as well. It's a really kind of interesting piece as well.
Have you liked what you've read of it so far?
So far, it
feels like dense though. Like
it's quite dense.
It's quite like
it's
you
quite
see
dense.
the writing in it.
What's interesting though is that Thomas Pynchon, this is one of his latter works. I think he took a break from writing, although
When was this published?
1990 as well, I think. But some of his earlier books are actually meant to be much more, I don't want to use the word better, but much more engaging, I suppose, more so than anything else. Whereas Vineland is kind of...
Well, sometimes if you have like really, really good books at the start of your career, it's always hard to like write books that are better than those.
Yeah.
Like I think someone like Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian, is always going to find that now. That his first book was The Martian. It was so good. People are never really going to like the other books more than that.
But it's a really interesting contrast as well with the author more so than anything else in that. Like Vineland was written at a time when kind of Thomas Pynchon was, coming in the latter stage of his life as well, and the book reflects that a lot as well, I think. Yeah. The next one we have is also a Pynchon.
Oh, it is, yeah. Gravity's Rainbow. And this one has a really interesting one I write.
Yeah, far away.
Says, we could tell you the year's 1944 and the main character is called Tyrone Slothrope, and that he is a problem because bombs are falling across Europe and crashing to Earth at the exact locations of his sexual conquests, but that doesn't really begin to cover it.
There you go.
Yeah, that tells me everything I need to know about this book, which is nothing at all.
Well, and that's what's really interesting as well. Like, you'll find that Vineland as well, it doesn't... Yeah. There's not much to tell about from a description. Like, I found it hard to look at what's this book actually about.
Yeah. This book is huge. This is like almost 900 pages.
Yeah, it's massive.
Like, but it's huge.
It kind of follows...
writing as well.
Gravity's Rainbow, it kind of follows, again, from what I've read online, about... kind of post-World War II, kind of atomic bombs and, just stuff in and around that. But apparently it's, because it's one of Pynchon's earlier works as well, it's a lot more intriguing and engaging as well. Yeah. I got it with the intention to read it at some point, and I should do it this year.
It'll be interesting to see what you think of it after reading, like, Vineland, to see if, because you've read this one first, maybe you'll like it better.
I read them the wrong way around, that's for sure.
Well, I think it will take you a while to get through this book. Yeah. You might want to start this one now if you want to finish it.
No, I'd probably, since I've started Vineland, I better finish Vineland first.
Yeah. And then the next two books we have, I don't think we need to talk about them too much. Because I'm not sure. Well,
do you feel like your viewers won't be intrigued with the the next books?
I don't think I have a huge amount of viewers who are coders or engineers.
Well, you never know.
So it is Building Event-Driven Microservices and Fundamentals of Software Architecture. These are what I call his school books. And
my school books.
Yeah, I call them his homework or school books because they're like real, like obviously to do with learning, and they're not. I don't know. I wouldn't find them very exciting.
And if there is any engineers out there watching Aoife's channel,
I don't think there are.
Surely, you like to upskill yourselves as well and read about new things that are out there in the scene. So, as an engineer by trade myself as well, this is This is how I do it.
So these are basically like for like coding or...
Yeah, so,
front end, back end development. We don't need to talk about it too much.
Well, I'll talk about one of them, I suppose, more so,
which one?
Fundamentals of Software Architecture.
Okay, we'll talk about Fundamentals of Software Architecture.
In as brief as possible.
As briefly as possible. Please keep it brief. We've been going for 20 minutes.
So, Fundamentals of Software Architecture. So, like, it does exactly what it says in the tin, I suppose, more so. It's
yes.
How you design software to work in the real world, I suppose, as well. The best kind of practices, the best approaches to take to it. How to discover and see pitfalls before you run into them. Okay. I suppose I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, they do actually, like, they remind me of books like in school because they're so like big and like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books you want to read by the end of the year. And I have a feeling this video will actually be really good for you because I think it will force you to be like, because you'll be competitive, so you'll be competitive with yourself now, being like, I will read these books because I've said it on video and I have it recorded. that these are the books you want to read.
I also have some chess books there as well. I forgot to bring it, but
Oh yeah.
also plus probably
people are really
one
into
or two chess books.
People are really into chess now because of Queen's Gambit. So there you go. Maybe you should read the book that the Queen's Gambit is based on.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should just improve my chess game first of all.
Yeah, you could also do that. Become a chess grandmaster.
That will never happen.
Yeah.
If I get my rating above it.
You also wanted to read this one.
If I get my rating above 1500, I'll be
Yeah.
happy for the year, which probably won't happen, but
Okay.
one can dream.
Well, we'll see. You'll be able to read these, and who knows, maybe if you do a wrap up at the end of the year, there'll be loads of other books that you can talk about too. Or we could even do, if you get loads read, we could do like a half yearly wrap up.
Unlikely, but we'll see.
Let us know if that is what you would like, because I always think it's really interesting seeing kind of what the partners of booktubers and like what they're reading, if they read similar things. As you can see, we don't really read a lot of similar things other than like the Expanse series and things like that, but and like sci-fi, some sci-fi that you like.
Do you guys want to hear something that I think is a real it's sacrilegious? Aoife loves the Expanse books, but she hates the show, and I think that's just,
Because the books are better.
that's just
Yeah. So leave if you guys have somehow read any of these books and have thoughts.
somehow read, and it's some of those books are classics, by the way.
Well, yeah,
Pynchon is classic.
people have read more Coil. Maybe they've read Pynchon, I don't know. But if you guys have read any of these books and have any thoughts or comments, please leave them down below. We would love to chat. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Bye.
You'll see you sometime next year.
If you're lucky.
Bye.